A lot of people wonder why believing that Jesus is God matters. And I didn't know when I was young. Our church actually believed it doctrinally, but didn't teach it because they were kind of legalistic. And so they were kind of going through the motions too of believing it, but not really. I would say I grew up in a more works-based than faith-based church also. But if I could take any like apologetics or Bible study or scripture or teaching or preaching out of it and just tell you my experience. When I recognized the first study my friend and I ever did at the table was the narrow way. We just wanted to know what that meant. And we had very limited study helps. I think we had a concordance. And so we looked it up and we studied it and we read it and read it and reread it and read it again. We asked the Lord to help us understand. And I have come to understand and believe for myself that the narrow way is not the 2x2 culture. It is not it's not the Mormons, it's not the JWs, it's not Scientology, it's not truth churches everywhere across the world who believe they have the way. The narrow way, narrow is the gate. Few there are who find it, right? Isn't that what scripture says? I think it's believing in that Jesus is God. I believe that with all my heart, because by the end of that day, God had revealed himself to my friend and I. And words came off the page in bold print with kind of a light underneath. And we felt the presence of someone with us. I mean, it was a very, very astonishing day. And it was the first time we'd ever tried to study scripture. We invited God to help us. We wanted help. We wanted to know what was right and true. And he was so faithful. But at the end of that day, we both said, could it be that the narrow way is believing in who Jesus is? The thief on the cross, he recognized who Jesus was. He recognized his God, his creator, his redeemer, who was at that very moment redeeming him. That very day he was in paradise because he believed. Every single time in the New Testament, believe is said. It's that. Do you believe that Jesus is God? Do you believe that? And believing that changes everything. It changed everything for me. I think without knowing who Jesus is, you are minus or without wonder. Once I started knowing how important it was, and I started exploring all the ways who Jesus is, I started living in this just awe and astonishment and worship. I don't think without knowing that you can have worship. You can't praise. Only God forgives. Jesus forgave people. We're not supposed to worship anyone else but God. People fell down and worshiped him. And someday, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. And that's capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. Every tongue, every knee. Even those who on earth don't believe, someday they will all say it and recognize who they denied.